Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my Seattle Sea Cattle franchise mode series right here on NHL 18. And today, well, we prepare for another season. How well will we do? I don't have a clue, and I tried to back out of that rhyme, but I couldn't help it. It was there for the taking. You know what the team looks like at the end, after the end of the last episode. We're trying to get some progression out of guys like Bitts, Moses, and Clow. Belfour, Lorentz, and Sutter, staples of this lineup at this point, but they're not going to be the top six game changers that we were hoping they would be. Defensively, of course, with O'Donnell, Reza, things are looking okay. Parker in the lineup as well. Bishop, again, we kind of know what he is, but of course the goaltending is spectacular. And that creates an interesting scenario in the future, if not sometime in the very near future. So we have the same questions that we always do. How will we do this season? And will we find success in the draft? Of course, whether or not we win the draft lottery, I suppose, is another one of those common questions. I'm going to be honest, I lost my train of thought. I looked over at the dog. She's rolling around, and it's adorable. That said, heading into today's episode, boy howdy, do I have nothing to talk about. So get ready for a very rambling, heavy 6 minutes or so while we sim through this season. I could thank you guys for the kind words in the last episode, and I do appreciate that, but that's all we really need to say. I could talk about the Stanley Cup Final, Caps and Golden Knights, but I've put out, or hopefully alongside this, but at the very least, in the near future, if not before this video, I put out a video talking about my thoughts when it comes to that series. So I got nothing, absolutely nothing to discuss, and it is unfortunate. But you see, that's what we do here. I've already made it a minute without having anything to say. It's a talent, really. It's a gift. It is. It is a gift to be able to ramble to this extent. But damn it, somebody has to do it, because we're not winning games, aside from the fact that we did just beat the Bruins. We're going to be a bad team this year. I don't think we'll hit the 30-win mark. I might be wrong. Feel free to take a guess as to whether or not that is going to happen. And of course, right after I say that, we win, 5 games in a row? Oh my God. Make it 6, I'm quite sure. Good Lord. We lost to San Jose, although I will say, I couldn't possibly put out a video about Evander Kane's new contract, because it would be this. You ready? This would be the entire video. San Jose, what the hell are you thinking? The end. The end. What are they thinking, signing Evander Kane to that contract that's comparable to the likes of Milan Lucic and Kyle Okposo? What are you doing, San Jose? We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. And then, Marleau goes, Thornton stays for 1 year at $8 million per. He's hurt. Is Joe Thornton going to stay with the Sharks in real life? Who the hell knows? Evander Kane, I don't have an issue with Evander Kane, but they're overpaying him. I'm sure some of the hate directed towards Evander Kane's way is from people just being dicks. Other hate is just more jokey, the amount of tracksuit mentions. That's a lot of tracksuits that he can buy. That's the most common joke on the internet right now. I can only assume. I am literally recording this within the past half an hour of that deal being made official, so there's that. Just San Jose, what are you doing? Just what are you doing? It could have been you. It could have been you. You could have had a Stanley Cup 2 years ago. But no. Nope. You blew it. And in fairness to Evander Kane, right? Okay, let's be fair here. He looked very good at the end of the year for San Jose. So I'm intrigued to see what he can do. I'm not rooting against Evander Kane, but man, that is a hell of a contract. But I guess, with Patrick Marleau gone, of course, for the past season, who knows if Joe Thornton will be back or not. Which, by the way, Jumbo, please go to a team where you might win a cup. Please. Go to Vegas. Who knows? They haven't won yet, but they might be in line to repeat next year. You never know, or they might just be in line to go back to the Stanley Cup final after falling short. Who's to say? We have 22 wins, by the way. I said we wouldn't hit 30. We have 22 wins midway through January. The unfortunate lack of overtime losses, though, will more than likely hurt us here in terms of a playoff spot. 42 defensemen in this draft, which is not ideal. That means there is, I don't know why I didn't notice that number before, but of course that means there is a distinct lack of a possibility. I mean, think about it. We're looking, how many teams are there in the WHL? And we are looking for defensemen from only 4 of those teams. It's not looking too good, I'd say, but you never know. We may be able to pull off a miracle, possibly. As long as we get one great defenseman, I will be cool with it. As we hit the beginning of February, 27 wins on the season. Tacoma's not doing well, which comes as a surprise to absolutely nobody. We've talked about that before. They are never going to find success in this series. It'll be difficult enough to find success with the Sea Cattle. As we approach deadline day and we get win number 30 against Carolina. Right now, 32, 24, and 4, we very well could be in a playoff spot. And I think I might stop this sim at the deadline. I want to see if we are in a playoff spot right now, because from the looks of it, we very well may be. Of course, we're going to get the alert about setting up the trade block and the alert about scouting. But my God, if we are in a playoff spot right now, that would... I don't know how I'd feel about that. Probably not good, because we're not good enough to make the playoffs right now and do well. That's kind of the issue. Let's go ahead and sim to deadline day, March 1st of 2029. That's right, we are that far into this run. And oh my God, we're a wild card. We're the 8th seed in the Western Conference on deadline day. Are we going to have playoffs in this episode for the first time? I mean, what a monumental moment this would be for us to make the playoffs. But talk about unexpected, and again, talk about that being less than ideal. We're not really in a position to be able to make the playoffs consistently. That said, seeing the losses still hurts at this point, but we're not really in a spot to be able to make the playoffs year in and year out. We still need those extra high-end prospects. Julian Oshie right now is doing work for this team, I can only assume. We're 37, 28, and 5 midway through March. We have 4 games in April. Let's go ahead and sim to April 1st. We could legitimately have playoff hockey on the horizon as we approach 40 wins on the year. Can we get it against Arizona? No, we cannot. Back-to-back losses there. We beat the LA Kings. We lose to San Jose. Winnipeg and Montreal are next up on the schedule, and I believe we lost to both teams. Indeed we did. So 40, 33, and 5 with 4 games to go this season. Are the Sea Cattle still in a playoff spot? We are not. We are 6 points back of Calgary, and I don't think we'll make it, which I'm happy about, but that does show that we are on the right track. In terms of progression, there hasn't been a ton, particularly from the second line. Defensively, Parker's up to a 73, O'Donnell's an 88. I have to wonder, what's Julian Oshie's save percentage? A 926, 31 wins and 57 appearances, and Joseph Hainsey has also been absolutely incredible. 4 games left. We would have to win every single one of them. We'd have to win every single one of them. We can finish with a maximum of 93 points. So Calgary would have to drop the ball, and we would have to pull off a miracle here. 3 out of 4 is the minimum that it would take for the Sea Cattle to make the playoffs. We lose to Ottawa, we have to win every single game from here on out, and that will do it. As we lose to the Philadelphia Flyers as well, we beat the Florida Panthers, but it's not going to be enough. We are going to fall short at 41, 35, and 6. So close, yet so far we finished 8 points back of the Flames. What a season for this team. I'm still not sure how I feel about it because, again, it probably would have been better for us to still be in number one pick contention. Rogalski finishes with 49 points, a great season for him. Trent over 50 points on the year, and Tennell also over 50 points, and he was our leading scorer. Brent Bitts, oh boy. 17 points and a minus 14. This second line got crushed. Moses, and the 28 points for Clough, not too bad, I guess. Third line, Belfour with 39 points, Lawrence with 25, and the 41 for Sutter. On the fourth line, Anderson Dolan, Logan Volk, and Kyler Yamamoto. Progression was the main goal. We didn't see a lot of it. Evan O'Donnell had a great season offensively, though, as did Bishop, for that matter. 37 points. 5 points for Reza, 10 for Riddle, 5 for Parker, and the 2 points for Calvin Gleason. And, of course, we know the goaltending was amazing. 32 wins and 61 appearances for Joshua Oshie, a .927 save percentage with 6 shutouts. And for Joseph Hainsey, 22 appearances, only 9 wins, but a .923 save percentage and 3 shutouts. Both men have expiring contracts. That's going to put us in a very weird position where an offer sheet might very well end up being a thing. But for now, let's get the confirmation that the season is over. There we go. Of course, neither team made the playoffs, as was expected. I want to look at the bracket, and I want to look at the player stats for the year, now that we've already looked at our team. So it's Winnipeg, St. Louis, Vegas and Arizona, San Jose, Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary, the Battle of Alberta. In the East, New Jersey and the Islanders, Philly and Pittsburgh, Detroit and Toronto, Buffalo and Carolina. As far as the league-wide, actually, let's look at team stats. Let's look at team stats here, as Emmy is distracted by something, and I can sense a bark coming, so let's pause for a moment. You know what? I was wrong, but better safe than sorry. As far as our goals for per game, we were bottom 10 in the league, in a three-way tie at a 218. So actually tied for bottom 5 in the league. Goals against per game was at a 256, which was mid-table, so not completely terrible. Actually, where the hell were we? Oh, never mind. We were up there, weren't we? What? I am zoning out. There we go. 241. So mid-table, but towards the bottom of the league. That was weird. Power play at 17.8% towards the bottom half of the league. And our penalty kill at a ridiculous 85.1%. Third best in the NHL. No shorthanded goals for us all season long. Were we the only team? No, there were 5 teams to go all season without a shorthanded goal. Pretty ridiculous. The last thing we have to check are the player stats league-wide, just to get a look. So the point leader, once again, Connor McDavid, the only player to break 90. Had guys like Trent Fox, Oli Levy, and Patrick Laine up there. Goal-scoring king, McDavid, one of 2 players to break 40 goals, along with Colin White. And again, in terms of penalty minutes or anything else like that, there's no point. Our boy Jake Dotchin's not around anymore. The Calder, though, will more than likely go to Sean LeClaire. 19 years old, and he put up 49 points with 28 goals this season. So with that all taken care of, let's sim through the playoffs. We'll, of course, get a look at the year-end awards, the Stanley Cup winner. From there, it's the draft lottery. Maybe there'll be a miracle. Maybe not, probably not, but at the very least, I'm hopeful we'll have someone available to us who's actually first-round caliber for us to draft. Of course, we have missed out on a couple of players in the past. I am hopeful for today's results. That said, as far as the Stanley Cup winner, I saw that the Flyers have the best record in the league. Will the curse of the President's Trophy remain? I'm going to say yes, which means they're going to win, as we're going to scout out defense here up until the draft. Let's see what happens. Can we get the win? Can we get the win in the lottery is my question. We won't. Can the Flyers get the win? No, they cannot. The Toronto Maple Leafs are Stanley Cup champions. So have no fear, Toronto. You only have to wait 11 more years, and you'll finally get one. Austin Matthews will be a grizzled young vet, and it'll be great. Let's take a look here at the playoff tree. As Toronto beats Vegas in 7. Damn. Philly did sweep Pittsburgh, beat New Jersey in 7, but lost to Toronto in 6. And then down in the AHL, the Milwaukee Admirals beat the Belleville Sens in 5 games. Let's take a look at Toronto. What are the Leafs looking like at this point in time? So forwards, Nylander, Matthews, Marner, shocker. Austin Matthews, 31 years old. Vitaly Abramov, Victor Arvidsson, William Karlsson, Clarence Packard, Arnold getting the Packard, Mark Jankowski, Edgar Wood, Jared Van Katterson, Jonathan Huberdeau, and Adam Ernie with that sick black eye. On defense, Morgan Riley, Pete Auld, who is already back down with the Marlies, Tommy Cleary, Marek Mazaros, Yves Lemeru, and Par Forstrom. The goaltender was Duke Wise. Great name and a .944 save percentage. Great numbers. Say hello to your Conn Smythe winner. I feel like that's a safe bet. And in fairness, Toronto actually won 5 years ago, but that's fine. We don't have to talk about that. Connor McDavid, yet again, wins the Art Ross. He also wins the Hart. Ole Levy wins the Norris. Scheifele the Lady Byng. LeClaire the Calder. The Conn Smythe went to Duke Wise, as you'd expect. Actually, he won it 4 years ago or 5 years ago with Toronto. Carter Hart won the Vezina and the Jennings. I believe that's Jeremy Waugh. I think it's Jeremy Waugh. Tell me if I'm wrong. I know he's a Sharks prospect. Pretty sure it's Jeremy Waugh. Yeah. Connor McDavid wins the Selke, the Ted Lindsay, and the Rocket Richard because it's Connor frickin' McDavid, man. And then down in the AHL, no familiar names aside from John Gillies taking home a little bit of hardware. He was the best goaltender in the AHL. South Portland, Maine native John Gillies. So the last thing to do is, of course, as always, we need to take a look at the progress reports. In which case, again, we'll only focus on the natural growth column, which leads us to Evan O'Donnell, who's an 87 overall now at 21 years old. We have to go a little bit further down than I'd prefer to get to the next green, which is Eric Clough up to a 79. Reza is an 80, a legitimate 80 at this point in time. Ham Hughes with a 5-point improvement down in the AHL. 3 points for Corey Parker, that young defenseman that we played in the NHL this season. Down in the AHL, some very good improvement for Sam Mealy. 9 points, up to a 75. He is an NHL caliber defenseman, at least for us already. Manny Jonas up to a 74. 1 point improvement for Braithwaite. 3 points for Marty Sauer. 2 points for Xavier Gardner. 3 points for Terry Whitfield. 2 for Lance Berry. Gigantic improvement for Cedric Maribal. Goddamn, 15 points. 15 points for Cedric. So some players did not move, unfortunately, but we saw some massive progression from some other players. Jonas McDonald up by 3. Is that it? It's not. Todd Champion up by 4. Still a great name. Billy Bonner, the Boogner, the Bonner, up by 1 point to a 64. 2 points for Chelios. 6 points for Bear Rintoul, another great name. 1 point for Jody Festerini, and that brings us to the end of the list. So again, some players disappointed, others with some gradual improvement, others with some major improvements. And that brings us to the lottery results. Is Lady Luck on our side for a team that just barely missed out? It is not. We have the 15th pick in the draft, so we were the best team to miss out on the playoffs, which is humbling, but boy, that could really screw us over here in terms of adding a great player. You know, midway through the first round, are we going to miss out on someone who actually would have been eligible is the question. We lose nobody to retirement. Around the league, Sidney Crosby retires with 1,882 points. I don't know if that picked up on the microphone. I don't know what the hell it is. I think my neighbor just started a lawnmower, maybe? Scared the hell out of me. 41 years old for Crosby as he retires. Stamkos retires as well. Kucherov, Duchesne, Brendan Saad, Ryan Johansson, numerous others, including PK Subban, and the previously mentioned Evander Kane, who finished with 426 points. I forgot to look at goaltenders. I'm sorry. I am the worst. I'm the worst. To the draft we go. No need to hype it up any more than what we have already done, but we will take a look at the draft class and who was eligible to us in the first round and who may still be. So we start off with Tony Hoyles, who was not eligible. Fedoruk, not eligible. Chimera, not eligible. Simmons, not eligible. And Chuck Adamski, thank God, is not eligible. So nobody in the top 5 would have been eligible for us to select. From there, we have Jared Zigomanis. Not that we need another goaltender, but, you know, it might have been helpful. He will not be eligible. Or he'll be eligible, but he's not going to be available at that point in time. Wakabayashi. Oh, Don Wakabayashi. Jesus, please tell me we're going to get him. And then we have Cristiano Gove, who will not be eligible. And from there, it's Warren Habsheed. So we need Zigomanis or Wakabayashi to be there. And that's what I'm talking about. There is no guarantee that either will be there. And when we move into the second round, we do have James Buss of the Tri-City Americans. Gary Hope is not eligible. I wanted to look at Lyles again just to make sure. Brett Tripp of the Everett Silvertips is available, but obviously not great. Scott Brookbank isn't eligible. Joey Hay is. Reisner also is eligible, but that's down in the third round. So fingers crossed, Zigomanis or Wakabayashi. We are hopeful for Wakabayashi. So the Chicago Blackhawks pick Adamski, medium franchise, 77 overall. Chimera goes second to the Ducks. Simmons to the Rangers. Dallas gets Fedoruk. This is looking like a somewhat weak draft as well. Hoyles to LA. Washington takes Lehoux. Louis Lehoux was a franchise legend at one point. Zigomanis goes 7th to Ottawa. Colorado takes Cargiulio. That shows how bad of a draft this could be. If this is going to be that bad of a draft for everybody else, imagine how bad it's going to be for us when we can only take specific players. Bickle goes to the Panthers. Gove to Minnesota. And now it's the moment of truth. Will Wakabayashi fall to 15th? Montreal picks Wanvig. 3 picks left. God. Columbus takes Krestanovich. All right. Tampa or Boston? Tampa takes Jenks. Boston, please. Don Sweeney, if you're still there, please, I'm begging you, don't do this to me. Don't make me curse my own team. Please. Yes, thank you. Oh, thank you, hockey gods. Holy shit, by the way, the player that they got, Parenteau, is the best player in this draft outside of the number 1 pick, Jacques Parenteau. 20 years old, 81 overall, medium elite. Good Lord. Congratulations to the Boston Bruins, but more importantly, congratulations to the Seattle Sea Cattle. Even if he is low elite, he was arguably the best player that we could have ended up with realistically. He's going to be a low overall, which makes me think he's going to be low elite, but that is 18-year-old Don Wakabayashi of the Spokane Chiefs. Welcome to the Cattle. And he's medium elite. All right, even better. Medium elite. He is 18. He's got a ways to go, obviously. He's more of a project defenseman. That's a much lower overall than what I would have preferred, but I'm not complaining about a medium elite defenseman. Are you kidding me? Especially when we finished 15th, the best record for a team who finished outside of the playoff structure, and we still ended up with the medium elite. That is incredible. And it's the player that I probably would have picked anyway, all things considered. I might have selected Zigomanis and then tried to do some business with an offer sheet, but absolutely, I'm happy. I'm happy with how that worked out. Wakabayashi is perfect for this team. And that brings us to the second round, where, is that a Marek Svatos, by the way? Miroslav Svatos. Let's take a look here. So Hay is eligible. Brookbank is not. Reisner was. Who else do we have? McBain, not eligible. Kootenay, Brandon, Saskatoon, Dillman on Prince Albert. Red Deer for Rocky Vukafuji. Gordon on Saskatoon. Oh boy, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. Evan Coop on Seattle. Alvin Mars not eligible. Victoria. Prince Albert. Oh, God. Well, we got who we wanted. We can't even get the enforcer, Jeff Denny. That's unfortunate. Oh, so when do we start going off? I mean, we got 3 players left that are eligible. So next up, we're going to take the goaltender, Joey Hay, from the Tri-City Americans, and hopefully we'll still end up with Reisner. Actually, do I go with Grant Reisner? I think I do. I'm going to go with Grant Reisner on this instead. Somehow we've only scouted him once, but the 17-year-old playmaker from the Tri-City Americans will be my pick in the second round. And unfortunately, it doesn't work out all that well. He's medium bottom 6 and a 55 overall, so whether or not he ends up developing, we'll see. That overall, or in that potential, I mean that potential mainly, is more useful to us in a series like this than it normally would be, of course. Unfortunately, our goalie bro is off the list. Is that Ty Ronning? Tristan Ronning. Our goalie friend, I just said our goalie bro, and I feel like killing myself, and I'm not making light of that. I shouldn't have said that either. Let me just keep digging myself a hole. Hay was a medium starter, 52 overall. Boy, that's... The memes got the better of me, okay? I'm not perfect. I'm leaving that in to remind myself that I can't speak, and I say dumb things sometimes. Don't take it too seriously. I mean, Jesus, if you take me too seriously at this point, I don't know what the hell you've been doing. Evan Coop, despite that potential, will be our next pick because everybody else is a shot in the dark. So welcome to the team, Coop. Medium bottom 6 and a 53 overall. Of course, we will have plenty of time to just start guessing with some of these players, and maybe there is a late round steal in the cards. And right now is about the time that we have to start guessing, so this should be fun. We know that Len Brain wasn't eligible. Kennedy? Nope, Mark Kennedy will not be joining this team. From there, do we have anybody else? I mean, the high top 6 normally don't really turn out to be that good. We do have Tommy Mayer, at least. Let's see. Want to go down to Bolig. Daryl Bolig of the Everett Silvertips is eligible. He might be the next guy. Matt Vachuk is not. Pogie is not. Fitz is not. What about Bogosian? Harvey Bogosian is eligible. Bufflin is not. Molly is not. A lot of enforcers. Jay Chan. Damn, Jaden Chan. Boo. Boo earns. We have Caldwell on Regina, and from there it drops off. And then defenseman, of course, is where the money would be for us. I'm just going to check these guys here. Portland, Medicine Hat, Portland, Seattle, so Seth Worrell. I don't have much faith in that, though. Steven Finger and Kirk Foy. And in terms of medium potentials, we do have a couple. Are there any eligible? Adrian Frank, Earl Summers, so far not so good. Moose Jaw, Victoria, Brandon, Kootenay, last one. No extra defensemen are eligible to us. What about Wilm, Red Deer? That is unfortunate, so we're going to have to go with the players that we've pinned so far. There are 3 guys here, and I think we will start with Daryl Bolig, the right wing, 2-way, 19 years old, from the Everett Silvertips. And he's not bad. Medium top 9 and the 58 overall, not too shabby. Obviously, this is shaping up to be a pretty poor draft, and as it is, I'm going to have one more pick available to us than I have pinned players, so that's also going to be an issue. South Korea representative Stephen Downey. Nice. Also, there's a Jacuzzi, I know. Tommy Meyer is going to be the next pick. Why not? The 19-year-old from the Seattle Thunderbirds. I'm hoping for medium bottom 6. I will not get it, which is not surprising. Not in the slightest, but whatever. We kind of knew that there'd have to be waste picks here. We don't have anybody eligible. We're going to have to hope that there's a goaltender left, or I'm put into a pretty weird spot. And we'll take Harvey Bogosian with this next pick, and he is also quite garbage. So our luck began and ended in the first round, where we ended up with Wakabayashi, and he is really the only half-decent addition to this team. I mean, the only The only play now is to take either an exact top 6 or we just take a guess with either a goaltender or an unknown. And I think we'll try to go for an unknown defenseman, of which there are a few. So we'll start off with Cross, not eligible. Altschuler, no. Holmberg, yes. Shattenkirk, no. Erskine, no. Travica, no. So, Jared Holmberg, the 6'4", 207-pound defensive D-man from the Spokane Chiefs, 17 years old, will be drafted in the 7th round. And again, that just does not result in anything. So all in all, a god-awful draft for us outside of the addition of Wakabayashi. And that brings us to this re-sign phase where potentially interesting things could happen depending on what other contracts are up aside from one Joseph Hainsey, although Tommy Tunnell's deal is also up, and you know that he will be looking for a lot of monies. All of the monies even. We have $90 million in cap space, by the way, speaking of all of the monies. Here's the thing. Hainsey's an RFA. Would I rather just run with an Oshie-Hainsey 1-2 punch? Or would I prefer to allow Hainsey to be offer sheeted? I could allow Hainsey to be offer sheeted, or we could just pay him the boatload of money already. We know that Oshie's staying, and my God, yeah, calculator app, please. We need to try and save some money here. Oh my God, he doesn't want to stay. Oh boy. That could be rough for us down the road. Oh boy. All right. Let's go 1 year at 12.5 just to see if he'll accept that, because 6 years is way too much. Hainsey, I'll figure it out. Hargrave, we need to re-sign. I'll give him the max deal there as a two-way. And Chelios, we could also sign just for the hell of it. So the big question is, what do we do with Hainsey? And do we allow him to go to free agency and try to offer sheet him? Bishop doesn't want to re-sign. 2 years at $4 million is a drastic overpayment, but for what we need, it might not be. We'll bring back Gleason if we can. We will sign Melee and just get him that NHL time immediately. Riddle can come back. And then from there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with Melee, Riddle, Marco. I think we'll bring everybody back. So let's bring back Marco. We'll bring back Crane. Ty Smith. I've let go of some players. And, you know, like some players that could have helped out the AHL squad. But I'm tempted to keep some of them now. Leduc, unfortunately, is going to be let go. I could have let go of Ty Smith. Maybe I should have. Gibbons is on his way out. Who else do we have here? We have Wakabayashi, who we're not going to sign. Bonner, Boner, can be let go of, as can Schaefer. Who else do we have here? If anybody. Bass. Do I want to sign Bass? Again, we have our 6 with Melee, so Riddle, Marco, Crane, Smith, Gardner, and McDonald. There's really no need to bring back Bass because I re-signed Ty Smith. So we're going to let Bass walk. Obviously, he would never get an offer sheet. Tunnell is too good to let go. He's willing to sign an extension, though, and wants a 7-year deal. I'm going to try to get him for the full 8, if I can. Just to get this sorted out, it would be $10 million, just over $10 million, which we might as well do. Let's just say 10.1 over 8 years, and then we have Tommy Tunnell locked up basically for the rest of his career. Sutter is also willing to come back, and again, it could just be worth signing him long term. Let's say 6 years brings him to 35 years old. I am willing to do that, I think, just to get this sorted out. And again, cap space, at this rate, cap space is not going to be an issue really at any point. So we'll try to do that. Close looking for a big time deal as well. Since he's younger and still has room to develop, I will only sign him to what he's asking for. I'll actually get a slight discount on that. Woods isn't going to develop, but I'll still sign him for the AHL squad. Barryball and Bowlig will both be left unsigned. On the left wing, we have Rogalski, who I think is willing to re-sign. He is. He's 23, so he still has room to develop, unlike Sutter. So I am willing to give him the term that he wants, and we'll drop that down to 5.5. Volk can stay, and he's not willing to come back, so we'll bump that up to $2 million over this next season. What else do we have? Bitts needs a deal. He'll probably be back down in the AHL next season after this year didn't exactly work out. Horton can stay just to be a decent overall guy. Eakin, of course, will not be signed. Anybody else? Nobody worth signing there. And then centers, oh boy. Belfour, not willing to re-sign. So we'll go 1 year at 4.5, and hopefully he'll accept that. Chuck Lorentz, also not willing to re-sign. Let's go 1 year at 4.5 on Chuck here. He should accept that, no problem. Kyler's willing to come back. And I got to be honest, I'm just going to lock him up long-term as well. He'll be here for the rest of his career for the most part. Moses, let's bump him up a little bit. Who else do we have? Connor can come back. That's fine. Actually, what are we at contract-wise? We should be fine. We're not bringing in that much new talent. So we should be okay. Van Allen, bring him back. And Braithwaite, don't really think you're going to develop, but we'll still bring you back as well. Reisner, Bogosian, and Coop will not be signed. So again, that brings forward the big question of what to do with a certain franchise goaltender when we already have Joshua Oshie. Is Oshie worth keeping if we're already this close to a playoff position? Even though you really wouldn't think that'd be the case, but hey, crazy things have happened in this game. Again, let's just spam through. Quite a few rejecteds in there, but that's okay. Let's just spam through, and we'll sort all of that out from there. I don't know what to do, though, as Oshie actually rejected. So that's unfortunate. Actually, I think I tried to do the 85% trick with him. No, I dropped it down to 1 year and bumped it up by a lot. We'll put it this way. We know he's staying. So I'll go 1 year, 20 mil with Oshie, and that'll guarantee that he stays. Because I don't want to sign him for that much money. I'm hoping in the future he'll be willing to re-sign. We do the 85% trick and then lock him up long term. I still don't know what to do with Hainsey. How much is he looking for? Oh my god, that would be a king's ransom. We're looking at a first, second, and a third round pick. But with how bad the draft has been for us, is it worth giving up the tandem of the century when the morale system is not on and it wouldn't be that big of a deal? Is it worth it, is the question. I'm going to go 1 year, 5 mil with Bishop just to get him back. Gleason, I got to bump Gleason to a one-way. And you know what? We'll pay Gleason the big bucks this season. Why not? Just to get him back. Of course, we need players to take up cap space. I was going to leave that for veteran players again, but this works all the same. Crane, I'll bump him up to the max deal. I don't know if I did that before, but hopefully he signs. None of those three will be signed. Right wings, Tennell actually rejected, which is unfortunate. I think I made that 10 mil. I'm going to just go 8 by 11, and that should be fine. And then Sutter as well, also rejected. You know, I'll give him the 3 years that he wants, and maybe 5.2 is good enough. Barabal doesn't need to be signed. Bowlig doesn't need to be signed. Rogalski was willing to come back. Let's go 6 by 4 for him. Volk wants to come back. We'll give him like 3 mil. We'll bump that up by a decent amount just to get him back in the fold. Horton as well. Might need that little bit of extra motivation. Since we can do this, we might as well. It sucks that they took that out in previous years, but what are you going to do? At center, we have Belfour. Let's go. Actually, you know what? Let's stop because Belfour might be the next guy to get a $20 million contract, if necessary. That's a big if. And I still don't know what the hell to do with their goaltender. I might just stop the episode here and leave that up to you guys, considering that is such a huge decision. As a couple of players still rejected, but the majority have accepted. I'm trying to get this sorted out in a timely manner so that we have plenty of time to, sign a certain goaltender just in case we decide to keep him. So let's go back to all expiring. Tunnel still being a little bit of a problem. What about 11.25 over 7 years? You're worth it. Belfour? How much money do we have left? 27? Yeah, so Belfour couldn't get one of the $20 million deals. Let's go 1 year at like $6 million. Close to it at least. And Crane, I'm going to have to offer him a pretty decent deal as well, but we should be okay. Goaltenders, yeah, it's just Hainsey now. So at least Oshie signed. So the final three before we decided to do whatever we have to do with our goaltending, which, money-wise, it could actually be a little bit close. Tunnel, Belfort, and Crane rejected again. What the hell? Where are we at cap-wise, by the way? Because this could theoretically have been a decent botch. We have 11 million left. So we have enough to sign Hainsey. So that's not a concern, no matter what the hell Crane's doing, which I don't know what the hell he's doing and why he's rejecting. And to be honest, I don't really care. We'll solve that in the next episode. Because for now, this one's done. We have to decide what to do with Hainsey. Is Oshie our guy, or do we keep them as the 1-2 tandem? If we get rid of Hainsey, again, we are looking at multiple draft picks worth of compensation. But with how bad the draft has been for us, do we want to put that much on the line? Again, at $8 million per, we're looking at a first, second, and a third round pick, which would be ridiculous. So for now, that'll do it for this one. I hope you guys did enjoy. I thank you for your continued support. It is greatly appreciated. If you haven't already, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you have not already done so. I already said that, but that's fine. If you couldn't tell, a little bit off my game today. We're on the road to 10K subs, and damn it, we're going to get there. Links are in the description to my Twitter and Twitch. Let me know in the comments, what do we do with Hainsey? The choice is basically up to you. Whatever you guys think is best for the series, let me know. If you agree with the comment, thumbs it up. I pay attention to the top I pay attention to every comment, but, the top comments. If I see your comment and then see another thumbs up comment that's saying the same thing, I'll know, oh, hey, that's the popular opinion. I love you all. Especially, and I did this in the USA episode. We shouted out Jim before. Is there, Tommy Tunnell was our leading scorer. Tommy, you're my favorite, buddy. You are. You are my favorite, outside of Jim. Today is a Jim and Tommy kind of day. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time.